Among the first plants to inhabit the earth, ferns remain abundant and beloved today. We'll look at some northern hardy varieties, and we challenge our garden gurus with growing inquiries from across the Northland on this edition of Great Gardening Straight Ahead.
Every tree has a moment when it shines.
That's called moneywort or creeping Jenny.
You can go in and do a rejuvenating pruning.
Forage and feed for our native pollinator population.
A garden really gives you peace of mind.
Hello and welcome to Great Gardening. I'm Pamela Fish. This week we're talking about the greens you see in homes and buildings everywhere, but also will find in woodlands and manicured gardens. Ferns, they're a favorite plant life. And our favorite experts on plant life are here: Tom Casper, a local garden professional, and Bob Olin, area horticulturist and educator, back at the table. Welcome back. Well, it's certainly not very green outside our studio, is it?
No, it's not. So for this show tonight, he's Hans, I'm Fronds, and we're gonna pump you up in gardening.
All right.
Sorry about that. I had to do it.
We'll explain more about that later. I think it's the Fronds. It's the Fronds joke because we're talking about ferns. So
that's right.
Yeah. Okay.
It's tough when your jokes need an explanation.
All right, you guys. Well, talking about ferns and talking about how we're waiting for spring and it's just not coming for us. But Tom, you sent me a picture about a week and a half ago and it looked like we were going to see some spring.
Yeah, crocuses in bloom, and they still pretty much look identical to this. A lot of the stuff that's been coming up in gardens that I've noticed is really kind of stopped, of course, and we need to keep reminding ourselves it is just the first week of April. And, stuff, we've had wet Aprils where we've had monstrous amounts of snow, so it's really not too bad out.
And what was it? 2 years ago we had Mays when we had plenty of snow. So we're ahead of the game, and we're going to just appreciate it that much more. That's why that's what you have to make this little episode all about.
Yeah. When it does come. Well, we also want to welcome our phone volunteers, the St. Louis County Master Gardeners, standing by to answer your called-in questions. So dial the numbers there on the screen. They will get those garden questions to us here this half hour. And you know what? We do have some questions that were held over and then some that were taken down when we were at the home show booth, which we manned last weekend. We all had a great time there, and thank everyone for joining us at our booth at the Arrowhead Home and Builder Show. They left some questions that didn't get answered.
Really?
So yeah, so we're gonna go right to those right now. Are you guys ready?
Okay.
Okay. Renee in Carlton was starting 2 beehives and wants to know what honeybees like that is not invasive or native.
Not invasive and native.
I don't know if, okay, that's what it says here. I didn't write this down.
All unscripted.
She doesn't want goldenrod, and she has bee balm.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of plants you can.
All right, name a few.
Black-eyed Susan, purple coneflower.
All
of course, bee balm is. I don't know why you can never have enough bee balm, and certainly a bee's favorite. And what she really wants to do is look for plants that are blooming early, mid, and late in the garden to keep those honeybees around.
And she wants to plant nice blocks for them. And, they really do like natives. We've got a lot of natives that really provide such a nice source of pollen as well as nectar, and they don't really require any inputs. So actually, some of the showier hybrids are not quite as well because they're bred just for that beautiful color. In many cases, they don't have the nectar that those honeybees would really look for. So sometimes a little less flash, a little dash is almost better for the honeybees.
Okay. All right, Joan, I don't know where she's from, but she says she has beetles in her raspberry bushes. Once there is fruit, what should I do? Now, I'm not sure if they're beetles.
Beetles, flies, they're all there.
They're all bad.
They're in the raspberries.
Yeah, okay. It could be this spotted winged Drosophila.
We've had a lot of questions about that.
And we did one program and that kind of warned the world of what was coming, and we may have to do another, but it's a real challenge. At one time, small plots were almost exempt. It was just our larger producers that were struggling with it, but now it seems like it's just about everybody that's got some raspberry patches may encounter this. The problem is they attack It's a Drosophila, so it's a fly, and it deposits eggs on the very ripe fruit. So you got a couple of choices. You want to harvest very regularly. You don't want to let the fruit get too ripe. And then my advice would be to harvest and immediately process or freeze, and that usually takes care of it. What you do not want to do is harvest ripe fruit and let them sit on your counter for a day or two.
Done that.
Yes.
And guess what?
You saw the marvels of nature, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, those eggs hatched.
They do hatch.
And your raspberries start to move.
They do. Nice little white larvae everywhere,
Yeah.
and that takes a little getting used to.
Now, is this fly killing the plants?
No, it isn't, and but it's sure damaging the fruit, and you really don't have any type of a practical, even if you chose to use some kind of synthetic pesticide, we really don't have any controls with our waiting period. So it's a challenge for the industry, and it'll be a challenge for us for a while. But don't give up on the raspberries. They're still a tremendous crop, but you're going to have to harvest very quickly and then do something with it very quickly.
And one other thing about that, one of the questions we got last week was about blackberries and other berries. Do the spotted-winged Drosophila get into those?
Sadly, they can.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen a lot of it in this area, but really there isn't a small fruit crop that's completely exempt. We haven't seen a lot of it on our blueberries. That's one of my big concerns, that we might see that. We're seeing that in Michigan now, so we want to be very alert to that. But right now, at this point, it's been principally very ripe raspberries.
Okay. Here's one from, I don't know who again, but they want to know, how do you get rid of moss in the garden?
Moss is kind of interesting because just like with the ferns, it's a very primitive plant, except that moss really doesn't have any kind of a vascular system, meaning that all of its moisture isn't pulled up from the ground, it's absorbed right through the plant's tissue, so you have to have a very moist environment. So the real solution is to change the environment, improve the drainage, eliminate a little bit of the shade, try to get some sunlight there. If you dry them down, they sporulate, and that's the only real solution. Forget there are a lot of chemical materials that are designed to destroy them, but they won't change things. They'll reestablish themselves pretty quickly if you don't eliminate all the moisture, or at least much of the moisture.
Okay, can you recommend a kind of slow-growing grass for a low-maintenance lawn?
Well, none of them are really that slow growing. You know, what they can do is you know, I have a problem. There's a few that are out there, but really they don't do well. Most of them that are slow growing really aren't acclimated well for our climate.
Okay.
Kentucky bluegrass is our hardiest kind of grass, or that you see most lawns. And what folks really need to do is, if they wanted to slow down, they can, you know, cut back on things, but then you improve the opportunity for other things to come into your lawn.
Sure.
So.
You know, Tom, you got it right there. The one thing you can do is cut back on spring and early summer fertilization with nitrogen fertilizer. Your fertilizing program should really be in the early fall, and cut back on a little bit of the nitrogen inputs, and that's going to slow it down some.
Okay.
People unfortunately start fertilizing heavy in the spring, and then you get so much blade growth. In the fall, you get the underground rhizome growth rather than blades.
Okay. All right, more questions later, but right now, with more than 13,000 species of ferns named, we can only touch on a handful and tell you just a bit about how they grow.
Ferns have been growing across the globe for hundreds of millions of years. The plants reproduce through spores, with no seeds or flowers. You can often see the spore development on the backside of the fronds. The spores hold millions of tiny particles that drop to the ground and create the new growth. Then new shoots, or fiddleheads, come up and unfurl as leafy fronds. Most ferns like shade and even moisture. Ferns are popular indoors as houseplants, and grown in greenhouses can reach massive size. Dozens of species grow in Northland climates. Some of the first to arrive include the ostrich fern, which grows in clumps with plume-like fronds, the interrupted fern, recognized by the withered gap in the middle of the leaf blade, and bracken fern, one of the most common, that grows in large colonies in fields and woods. Here are some more examples grown locally.
I think I have 7 different kinds of native ferns around the property now. This is a royal fern, And these are interrupted ferns, lady fern, Long Beach fern, and over here we've got, this is, what was this one? Spinulus wood fern, and the little oak ferns over here. So they seem to like it back here, so they're kind of spreading around. In this bed we've got the sensitive ferns. They're called that because they, I think because they are real sensitive to frost. They're kind of the first ones to go.
The northern maidenhair fern, they only grow in certain climate conditions. So that's kind of a unique plant to have in the garden. Here on Maple Hill, they grow native here. See the circle? Comes up on a single stem, and then the fronds come off of a circular. And they're kind of their unique round shape. I just love them. I thought they were awesome.
That is a great maidenhair fern, and would love to try and grow those around
Well,
here.
and one of the great things is that we haven't even talked about yet is deer don't like ferns. So for those folks that are struggling with heavy, wet, damp, dark soil conditions and deer, plant ferns.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shady areas, we love our trees, and those along with hostas in combination with some of the other shade lovers, really very, very nice, but 13,000 named species.
Yeah.
See what you learn when you tune into educational TV?
That's right. Here to educate.
And Tom, in front of you we have another example of a maidenhair fern. This one is not a native. It's more of a house plant, but isn't that lovely? I got that up at Swanson's greenhouse and I couldn't resist it because I think it's gorgeous, and I hope I don't kill it, but it is a little delicate.
Yeah. And you can plant this out. I mean, most winters, like this past winter, it would survive that in most conditions. What you'll want to do if you do something like that that's really been grown as a house plant is to acclimate it to the outside before you plant it.
Right.
And make sure it's after big killing frost. So.
Sure. And then you saw some ferns when you were on your travels this week.
Yeah.
We have a picture of one of them.
Yes.
This is a staghorn fern.
Yeah, and that's really the large leaf plant in the center, and it's really a saprophyte. So it's growing in old or rotting wood or in crevices where soil and other things have been able to accumulate. Again, not hardy for our outdoor climates, but if you have an indoor climate and want to grow something really interesting, staghorn ferns are kind of fun and unique for the outside garden during the season and the indoor garden during the off season.
And this one was growing where?
That was at the Como Park Conservatory down in St. Paul just a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And for people with a lot of time on their hands, if you want some fun or want to work with your kids, take some of those spores and try to germinate and start your own from seed. They will come from seed. I've done that once, like a lot of other things in my life. Once was enough. But what I did learn was this, very, very fine media and sterilize it. Because these are microscopic. This isn't like a seed. These actually predate all those plants that actually have seeds.
Right.
So they're very ancient, but there's literally millions of those in those little spore pockets underneath the leaves. And sterilize it and keep it moist, and you can actually germinate them, and you'll have very small little fern, not seedlings, but sporophytes, I guess it would be. Something, because they're coming from spores.
Technically, they're not seedlings.
They're technically
What do
not
we call
seedlings.
them?
No, yes, I was.
Little ferns. Okay.
Gamophytes or something, Tom? There's got to be some Latin
I
for
think
them.
that's probably,
Yeah.
I think I read that, but I'm not, don't quote me. We do have a question about ferns. It's from Thor in Duluth. Is it possible to keep ferns and hostas in containers? If so, and we know you can keep ferns in containers, of course. If so, how do I keep them over the winter? I don't have any garden outdoor space.
Well, that is a challenge in most winters. Now, this past winter probably wouldn't have been a problem. But what he should do if he wants to keep them in containers and overwinter them is try to find a place where he can insulate or place those. Either if he doesn't have garden space, he's going to want to insulate those pots with lots of straw or other material that will provide some separation from the cold air temperature. Because really that's the issue, is the cold air coming in from the sides damaging the roots. So.
And if he's willing, the other thing he can do is just take a spade and drop the pot in the ground. And that remarkably will get him through the winter for you.
All right. Linda in Duluth has a spiral Alberta spruce, which is brown on top. What could be the cause of that?
Well, it's probably winter burn. They're pretty susceptible to that. It's more than likely on the west or south side of the evergreen, and in most conditions and most seasons, it will grow out of that. So nothing to panic about yet.
Okay. Sue in Hayward has an adult hibiscus that won't bloom. It is healthy. It's out in the summer, gets little natural light. How do I get it to bloom?
Go ahead, take a crack at it.
Well, more than likely it's a nutrient issue then at this point. If it's outside and it's getting plenty of light, I'm guessing it's a nutrient issue. She wants to fertilize, but not high nitrogen. She really wants to force flowering, so something a little higher in phosphorus and potassium. And probably starting it now because they're really starting to prepare for that summer bloom. So.
All right.
And sometimes it is a maturity issue where you move from juvenile to the adult form, and it takes a few years sometimes too.
Will tree lilies survive this snowy weather? They are starting to come out about 5 inches.
Tree lilies?
Yeah.
Not sure what that is.
Okay. We need
She
more
might be talking
information.
tree peonies.
Tree peonies or daylilies?
Or daylilies, yeah.
More than likely. I think she's probably talking about daylilies if they're emerging right now at this
Okay.
point. Yeah.
And will they survive the snow?
They will,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay.
Will they survive the deer? That's the big question.
That's right. Okay, we're going to move on. And in keeping with our theme, we toured a garden in Duluth last summer that was lush with ostrich ferns. But there was a lot more to enjoy there as well.
We started with a small patch at that end and just kept
Encouraging them.
letting them go. Yes, we encouraged them. They're still going. We pull out things that we don't want there, otherwise we ignore them and they just take over the world. Right now, they're fighting it out with snow on the mountain and lilies of the valley.
Ferns are winning.
But the beauty of it is they practically drowned out all the weeds. So it's worth it. It's a good thing. We couldn't take care of all that otherwise. We're Larry and Judy Brahmy. Welcome to our garden. We live here on Skyline Drive and garden here.
Well, my grandfather bought the home when it was built in 1924, and it's been in our family ever since then.
That is Berginia, and it comes from a patch up farther in the yard that Larry's mother started at least 60 years ago. And of course it spreads too, so you can keep putting it everywhere. So there are roses, there are peonies, there are purple things I don't know the name of. There are irises, daisies, a little tree hydrangea, monarda, some lilies. They're pretty common things, but they work well. They're tough, they come back every year. A lot of things have been shared plants. We had a neighbor once who always said, if you give things away, your garden grows better.
The rhubarb is an original plant that has probably been here for, I would say,
It could be 80 years,
could be
I'm not
80
sure.
years, yeah. And obviously it comes back each year, very robust
Yes, very robust.
and tasty too.
This is one of my favorites. I like it because it's enclosed. I can't create garden rooms all over the place, but that's what this one feels like, and I like that. That's how I think of gardening. I think of it as decorating. That's the fun part of it, is trying to make it look a certain way. It's just Virginia creeper. Yes, it's very ordinary.
One thing nice about the property is the terrace, the natural terrace of it, and it's just worked out. It was just a natural for a gazebo in here,
And then we had all these nice pavers, and Larry said, well, if you're going to have pavers going all the way back, you've got to have a destination. So we have to have a pergola or something back there, which I thought was a wonderful idea.
chairs have never been sat in.
No, but we might sometime. That foxglove comes back every year. In fact, it reseeds all over the place, which is really nice.
It's called Buckingham Creek, and it's a spring-fed stream that runs all year round. It's never dried up. Several years ago, one of our willows fell down. It fell across the creek, and I left it there and filled in and made the dam and got the waterfall. It's kind of nice to hear the water trickling down.
It is never perfect. There's always something to be done. That's part of the fun of it. And it wouldn't be nearly as much fun to just maintain it every year. You have to add something or change something.
It's a fun thing to do together.
It is.
Such a gorgeous place, and yeah, we've all been there,
Real gem.
and just enjoyed it so much. Thanks to Larry and Judy for
Spectacular
for sharing
home, spectacular gardens, and spectacular gardeners.
that. Yeah,
And
they're
then
really a lot of fun
the
to
amazing-
spend time with.
Amazing thing is everyone that's driven the Skyline has driven past that 100 times and never realized how beautiful it was. It
Right.
was so nice of them to open it up for the
It was.
tour. And again, one
Indeed.
of the real nice advantages of getting on board one of the great gardening tours, you get to see some of these places.
That's right, and we have tours coming up, and if you want to find out more, you go to our website because they're a lot of fun, our garden bus tours. But we want to get to some more questions right now. Joe in Keewatin planted winter rye to add nutrients to his vegetable garden. Is it hard to till in, and how soon will he see the benefits?
You know, it depends on how early you got it planted. The whole idea, particularly with winter rye like that, you're not going to get a lot of nitrogen, but you're going to get all the fiber and so forth. And he'll see the benefits the first year, actually. So he'll get it tilled in and he'll see benefits. We are going to be at one of our sessions talking a little bit about cover crops, and we can touch on that later. And this is a good cover crop for this area, but it has to be planted the previous year.
And he can pretty much till it in when he can get the tiller in the soil. So
All right. Okay, not quite yet.
not yet.
It's still frozen. Rochelle from Hibbing wants some advice on growing azaleas, namely Northern Lights.
Well, great series of azaleas that the University of Minnesota has really worked on bringing forward to us, and lots of choices in those and colors. Pretty easy to take care of. Want to protect them in the winter from deer, unfortunately, because they will eat those flower buds, which come out first. A good fertilizer, usually generally best in around August to early September when those buds are setting for the following year's bloom. But again, protecting them, acid soil, bring that pH down if they can to around 5 or so. And again, fertilizing in the fall.
And with an acidifying fertilizer like ammonium sulfate would be your best material there.
All right, Jan from Cloquet wants to know how do you get rid of night crawlers in the garden?
Do you really want to?
They're helpful.
Well, they do open it up, and of course they're non-native, and they become just a little bit controversial. But you know, I just don't think there's any value in getting rid of them. I think they add so much benefit in terms of opening the soil, but also breaking down so much of the organic material. Most people would like a few additional earthworms there.
All right.
And if not, find a few fishermen; they'll take care of it for you.
Okay. Lynn from Lakewood Township wants to know, would ferns be a good barrier to surround other areas of a garden to block the deer? Would that be helpful?
No, they'll walk right through them, unfortunately. But certainly, again, if she's battling deer, a great choice in the garden to combat those areas or places where the deer have really done damage. So.
Sure.
And again, they're not going to be happy out in the full sun. They'll bleach out, most of them typically. So where a garden, you generally want as much sun as possible. Here you really want the shade.
Okay, we had one question I promised I'd ask from the home show, and it was from a couple in Virginia. They had an apple tree and they built their deck around it. It's a pretty good size one, 15 years old, but it's got green mold on 2 or 3 of the branches. He tried to cut one of the branches back. What do you think's going on there?
It's just air circulation more than anything.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah, and he's just going to kind of have to live with that, I think. And it shouldn't really damage the tree, but it's an indication there's maybe a little more moisture there than what you'd like. So anything you can do to open up some of the air circulation.
And again, if he's going to do that pruning, he wants to probably do it this weekend. We're kind of running out of time.
Sure.
Now with this cooler weather, it's slowed a little bit with bud break, but we're really getting to the end of that pruning time for apples or fruit. So.
Okay, here's a question about white fungus on pumpkins, cucumbers, grapevine, covering the veggies and fruit close to harvest time.
It's an indication, even that if we have deniers, that our season's definitely warming. This is powdery mildew, very common in the south. We really don't have any effective fungicides for control. You do want to look for some of the resistance that's been bred into them through the natural classical hybridization process. Such a problem in the south that they really are looking for a lot of good resistant varieties. So that's the future, really.
And not to panic, and the other thing is good cleanup in the fall. So if they're battling it or have had it in the past, getting that foliage out of the garden and getting it off the garden site if possible,
Okay.
rather than composting it to get that
And
powdery mildew down.
And also one of the nice things, because it attacks us a little bit later, because we don't have those heat units like they do farther south, is much of the crop is already formed and set, so it's not quite as bad as it looks. It's not really an aggressive fungi late in the season like that.
Similar question about white powdery mold on a rosemary plant that was brought in over the winter. That's from Charlene in Cotton, and she's wondering, is there anything I can do about it? Can I spray it or anything?
Again, good air circulation, probably cutting back on her water. It's probably a mildew as well on it, so.
Okay.
The plant will generally outgrow it, but making sure it isn't too wet right now is a good thing. So
Anything that's up on the surface like that doesn't tend to be a problem. It's when you get down and you see this breakdown in tissue that we really have problems with fungi.
All right. Well, apparently that's all the time we have left for questions. But before we go, we have a reminder about a great upcoming garden event. It's the annual extravaganza. Bob, tell us about that.
Going to have a lot of fun. We've called it Sustainable Gardening, Growing Green in 2016. We are going to take a look at weather trends and how these weather trends are going to impact northern gardening. We've got a state climatologist, Dr. Blumenfeld, that's going to join us. A full day's activities or till early afternoon. We're going to be looking at so many things. We got an hour of demonstrations, taking houseplant cuttings and all kinds of things going on. In addition to segments on fertility, segments on growing carrots in the year of the carrot. We're going to walk you through that process, growing warmer season crops. So there's going to be something for everybody on that day.
Lot of stuff to cover that
Tom's
day.
going to join us that day, so it could
Yay.
be
And it's Saturday.
a week
April
from
16th.
this Saturday. Yes, it's going to be on the 16th.
Okay.
And begins right at 9, the program itself. And you can certainly check your website. I think you've got the link
That's
up.
right. As always, you can find a link and more information on our website, which is wdse.org/gardening. So go there for a lot more information. Bob Ole and Tom Casper, thank you as always for your great advice and inspiration. Really appreciate it. We got a lot of information covered this week. We want to also thank our phone volunteers, the St. Louis County Master Gardeners, and tell people that next week on Great Gardening, we're going to a children's literature garden. I'm kind of excited about that.
Be fun.
Thanks all of you for calling in your questions and for watching. And from all of us here, enjoy the garden.